What is up, guys? Patrick here from Nintendo Talk, back with another discussion video. And I know what you're thinking, guys. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've done one of these. And this is kind of how I started this channel, with kind of these theory videos, discussion videos, speculation. So this is kind of how I started this channel. I've been doing a lot of live streams lately, which I love. I love meeting a lot of new people. And since I've been doing those, this channel has been growing like crazy, something that I'm definitely proud of. But today we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. And it's kind of about the game that's going to come out this week, Splatoon 2, and a game that came out last month, which is ARMS. Now, I said from the start, ARMS has been one of my favorite or most hyped games. As soon as I saw it at the release, the little release video that they did, I was so excited. I'm a giant fan of motion controls. I like the Wii because of that. And, there were some aspects on the Wii U that were, motion control implemented. But I just love them. I think that they are super cool. I know they were kind of a fad at the time. The Wii just started that fad of motion controls. But, going back to ARMS, I really do like this game. It's a very fun, competitive game. And it's pretty much pick up and play, but at the same time, there is a drastic level of competition and fun that you can have with this game. You can play this game on the couch with someone and have a really good time, but you can also go online and have intense matches. But really what I want to talk about today is I think Nintendo messed up. And I really don't say that a lot because I really do like this company, but at the same time, I am critical of this company because I support so much of what they do. And as a fan, you guys should be critical of companies because, they affect your life personally because you're invested into their products, into their decision making. So when they do these kind of weird decisions, it does hurt them in the long run. And what I'm talking about in particular is when ARMS was released. Now, when you look back at the initial reveal of the Nintendo Switch, the whole thing, ARMS was supposed to be a early spring launch game. And I was excited about that because that's a perfect game to pair with Breath of the Wild because you have this giant adventure game in Breath of the Wild. You have this dumpster fire in 1-2 Switch. 1-2 Switch was not supposed to compete with Breath of the Wild at all. Little disclaimer there. It was a nice party game. It's fun, there's some fun mini games on there. It definitely shows off the hardware a little bit. And Nintendo's pretty famous for that. We had Nintendo Land and Wii Sports. So that game was never supposed to compete directly with Breath of the Wild, but it was a nice addition for that market, the people in that market. And right after that, we had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in April, which I love that game. One of my favorite Mario Karts, maybe ever. But that's where they messed up, okay? Because no matter what, people were going to buy Mario Kart. That's a given. Every system Mario Kart sells. And especially Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because so many people have played it, the new battle mode. It was a perfect release at the time. However, if you switch ARMS and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, so ARMS comes out in April, Mario Kart comes out in June, we have a much different story, I feel like, for ARMS if we switch those two releases. Now let me go even deeper into that. ARMS came out last month, and when that game came out, it came out at a pretty good time because there was nothing. There was absolutely nothing on the Switch. We got a few indie releases, but no major titles. I mean, I was scraping to play my Switch, and I actually didn't play it for weeks on end at that point. And when ARMS came out, I was like, finally, this is the game that I want to play. And when it came out, of course, before that, we had the Test Punch, which I think was a perfect representation of what this game was. There was a few rounds. I think I caught 4 of them. They were each 1 hour, which made this game like you wanted to play it because, oh my God, I got to rush on this Test Punch. It's only an hour. Let me squeeze as many rounds in as I can. So that made me want to buy the game even more. But I've always been a big backer of this game. Like I always wanted this game to come to my Switch, and I this is just the game that I needed. And compared to the other games, it's really nothing like any other game that's released on the Switch. In a few days, Splatoon 2 comes out. That's going to greatly hurt this game. Now, ARMS and Splatoon are both pick-up-and-play games. I feel like the ease of both games is entry level. You can be competitive with both. You know, there's crazy Splatoon teams that are just insane, and there's also people in ARMS that are just as bad. You know, they really give you a run for your money. But ARMS is going to get hurt a lot because of a few reasons. I've heard a lot of you guys ask me personally, what should I pick up, ARMS or Splatoon 2? I have to say Splatoon 2, just if you want your money's worth, and I think Splatoon 2 is a little bit of, more of a complete game. There's definitely more variety in Splatoon 2. ARMS is very, me versus you, who's the better fighter. There's some great stage, there's some great character designs, but it's essentially the same game. You're fighting someone else. In Splatoon 2, you're fighting against the map. You're painting the map, and that's your goal in that particular mode. I know there's other modes, but Splatoon 2, there's a lot of different ways you can play it. Some people like to do the Call of Duty approach where you just go out there and you headhunt and just kill everyone in sight, which again has its own advantage because it's kind of like hockey when you're doing a power play and it's 4 versus 3. That's a significant advantage for the team of 4. So there is advantages of killing people rather than, doing what you're actually supposed to be doing. But there's other people that go completely on the other side of the map and just paint everywhere and rack up points, and that's good too. So even when you're losing in Splatoon, you're having a good time. Whereas in ARMS, if you're losing, you just suck. Like, there's no way around it. ARMS is very competitive based, Splatoon is very team based. And I think a team based game has more longevity to it. Whereas a competitive game, you get discouraged fast, you tend to find faults in the game quicker. We had an ARMS stream the other day, me and Frito Nation, and we both noticed after the live stream, we both went on Discord and we were talking, and we noticed that there was punches going right through people. There was a lot of lag issues, and that was because of internet connections. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in Splatoon, but it's more apparent in a 1v1 fighting game than it is a team-based Splatoon game. So I think Nintendo dropped the ball a little bit on ARMS. I think if it came out in April, like I said, we would have been having a much different discussion. It would have been a game that people would have been playing like crazy all throughout May. Street Fighter release, but that wasn't a big thing. So you have April, May, and June to play ARMS. And at that point, then you would have Splatoon in July, and there you go. There's your nice ease into Splatoon. Splatoon is such a heavy hitter that it's really going to affect the sales of ARMS, because you guys also have to, think of this, that not a lot of people have the Switch. So if someone is buying the Switch for the first time, say in like July, because there's going to be a lot more Switches being, out in the wild that you can buy, what are they going to pick up? They're going to pick up Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8, and they're probably only going to have money for another game, and that's Splatoon 2, because you should definitely pick that up over ARMS. Now, if you go later in the year, you have Mario Rabbids, which I think is a toss-up. I think I would edge out. I would probably pick ARMS over Mario Rabbids. Then you have Pokken Tournament, which is another fighting game. So ARMS has a lot of competition coming up. And then October, it's Odyssey. And at that point, it's over. Only the select few are still going to be playing ARMS and picking up ARMS. And then, of course, you have Fire Emblem Warriors, Xenoblade 2. And at that point, ARMS is but a memory, because everyone's going to pick up Zelda, and they're going to want to pick up some kind of multiplayer game. Mario Kart is probably the clear favorite in there, and Splatoon. So ARMS gets lost a little bit. Whereas if you put ARMS in April, you have a much different conversation, because you had 3 months to kind of digest that game and that game could have really, really gained in popularity because of the DLC that has got released for it. So I'm kind of left with scratching my head a little bit because ARMS was supposed to be a spring launch release. That was the initial thing that we heard from Nintendo. That's what we all were left to believe. ARMS coming out in June is a big mistake. And when it came out, I was happy it did, but I mean, ultimately I was like, you know what, a month from now, this game is really going to get damaged, in terms of sales. Now, onto the game itself, I think that ARMS is a very, very good game. I think it is a lot deeper than people are led to believe it is. There's a lot of cool, different character designs and strategies that make each character unique, even though you can equip certain arms that are pretty much the same. So in that aspect, ARMS brings a lot of variety, and if you're playing this game competitively, there's a lot of strategies to think of. So I'm not knocking the game at all. I think it's actually a really good game. I don't think it's a great game, but I think it's a pretty good first step in this franchise, and I really do hope that they make like an ARMS 2 or some kind of next game to this, because I think it does have a lot of potential. I just think that they screwed up in terms of when they were releasing it. Maybe the game wasn't done. Maybe that's why it didn't release earlier. But it's a little sad to see because, this was supposed to be the next Splatoon. I remember that being the big conversation. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think. What do you think about ARMS? What do you think about Splatoon 2? Do you think ARMS will suffer because it was released so closely to Splatoon 2? Let me know in the comments below, guys. Thank you for following me. Like always, hit like, hit subscribe. Patrick from Nintendo Talk, out.